Gentlemen and ladies, I'll be live on Twitch sometime after this video goes up. Hope to see you there. Let's have a good old time. Alright, peace. Gentlemen and ladies, it is time for some new Big Tuna content. Today we have something big, something massive. Alright, our elemental overlords have blessed me today, okay? I didn't have any content lined up today, but I just came across some patch notes here, okay, that are focusing towards shamans. Alright, we're getting some changes in 10.0.7, alright? So, you know, lock in your chairs because it's going to be pretty exciting. So what do we have here? We actually do have a lot. Now, keep in mind, these aren't like massive like class tunings and number tunings. Like, no, these are just certain changes that, you know, Blizzard felt the need that, you know, was the best action to take. So, you know, don't expect that we're going to be put on the same level of arms warriors or, like, you know, assassination rogues, but they're changes that were needed and they definitely will help. So, you know what, let's just kind of take what we can get. So let's kind of read down these bullet points because as you can see, there's a lot. So let's start with the first one. The first one is just like a taunt threat thing, is more towards PvE, but we get to the second one, or start the third one, and this is where it starts to get interesting. So we see here, Astral Shift duration is increased to 12 seconds, was 8 seconds. That's pretty good, alright? Now the second one, Plains Traveler no longer increases the duration of Astral Shift, alright? One of the problems with the two talents known as Plains Traveler and Astral Bulwark was that they were both really good, but it was weird in the sense of, at least specifically Plains Traveler, where Plains Traveler was, you know, the talent that made it so it would reduce the cooldown of your Astral Shift by 30 seconds and increase the duration by 4 seconds, bring it back to Shadowlands level, okay? That's something that people don't really like with these talent trees, is that a lot of abilities that are, you know, really vital to your class are kind of broken down into some other talent tree points, forcing you to spend other talent points. It's something that people don't like, but you know what, we kind of have to roll with it nowadays. But now they're kind of changing it a bit, so Astral Shift just in general is going to be 12 seconds now instead of 8 seconds, which is really good. Then you come down here, Astral Bulwark now reduces damage taken by an additional 20%, was 15%. 15% already made Astral Bulwark a 55% wall, which is, you know, probably the highest wall in the game, right next to right next to Priest Dome of what, barrier, you know, power word barrier. Now it's going to be 60%, so that's going to be crazy. All right, a 60% wall on a you know 2-minute cooldown, pretty interesting. Is that going to make us live a lot longer? Honestly, you know what, we'll see. We'll see. It's either just 30-second duration or 30-second. It might be, you might want to play it now because I like Astral Bulwark. So it's either 30-second, you know, 30 seconds off your wall, or really massive wall, 60% wall. You know, arguably the highest wall in the game. You know what, it'll be pretty interesting. So this one's interesting right here. Improved Lightning Bolt removed. Why is it removed? Because Lightning Bolt is actually going to be doing increased damage just by default. So improved Lightning Bolt, it was 2 talent points, each 10%, so in total 20%. Now Lightning Bolt is just going to be doing 20% increased damage for all specializations. Really nice, you can see it right here. Now you can also come down here and you see Thunderstorm has been moved up to improved Lightning Bolt's position. The talent tree goes down to, what is it? It is Ancestral or Nature's Guardian, Improved Lightning Bolt, and then it goes to your Thunderstorm. Now, since Improved Lightning Bolt is going to be gone, Thunderstorm is not going to move up in the tree. So hey, you know, maybe that'll kind of smooth out where you can put your talent points. Who knows? All right, and now I'd assume Lightning Lasso would also move up as well. Hopefully it does, unless they add some other random talent, but I don't think they will. So that's pretty good. You kind of scroll down here a bit. We see Go With The Flow now reduces the cooldown of your Spirit Walk by 10/20 seconds, was 7.5/15 seconds. This is something I like. So no one really takes Go With The Flow right now, just because, I mean, there's like really no point, unless you're taking Gust of Wind, and like that's pretty interesting, but that's another key thing. So the reason why I like this change is because, you know, there are certain numbers in WoW just don't really make any sense. All right, usually it's usual kind of direct numbers, which is what makes a lot of abilities. So having like a decimal 7.5 like doesn't really make any sense. Now they're just flat out just, you know, making this whole numbers 10/20 seconds. That means you're gonna have Spirit Walk on a 40-second cooldown, and you're gonna have Gust of Wind at a 10-second cooldown. So I actually do like Gust of Wind. Of course, Spirit Walk is you're always gonna have to play it, but against classes that don't have like a root or anything, then I actually do play Gust of Wind with Go With The Flow. And actually, you know, it's proved to be pretty helpful, at least in my standards. But let's actually look down here, and this is something that I'm actually really amazed by. Thunderous Pause can now trigger once every 20 seconds, was 60 seconds. That is huge. So I actually liked Thunderous Pause in Shadowlands. It gets a conduit. I liked it. Every 60 seconds, it will increase your movement speed by I think in Shadowlands it's like 40%, I'm sure. And remove your snares, remove all snares on you, not roots, just snares. But the problem with that conduit was it was every 60 seconds. That's a long duration for just a little bit of extra movement speed and a snare cleanse. All right, that's a lot. That's a big CD. But now it's gonna be every 20 seconds. So it's either Thunderous Pause or what is it, Spirit Wolf. All right, Spirit Wolf is the talent that makes it so whenever you use it and goes to a form, you'll get 10% or 5% damage reduction and 5% movement speed, stacking up 4 times, which is really good if you're getting trained by melee, which is usually the case 99% of the time. But when you're facing stuff like classes that just constantly have slows on you, everything, honestly, Thunderous Pause might be an option for me to take, because I actually really do love Thunderous Pause. Poison Cleansing Totem now removes all poison effects from the target, was 1. That is crazy. Removes all poison cleansing. Oh, it removes all poison effects from the target, was just 1. So I'm pretty sure maybe this is gonna work like before. Not before, sorry, but maybe it's gonna work differently. So pretty much every pulse of Poison Cleansing Totem is gonna remove all of your poisons, unless this is just gonna be you place it down, it removes all your poisons, and that's it. It's over. So whether it's like a pulsating effect or just kind of like a one and done effect, honestly, who knows? You sometimes take this into Acid Rogues. All right, there's a kind of Ghost Wolf heavy oriented build, not build, but certain talents. You take Spirit Wolf, Spectral Recovery, Ancestral Wolf Affinity. You can place totems and I'm pretty sure cast Wind Shear and Ghost form, and you'll get a little bit of extra healing, and you will have damage reduction, movement speed, and Ghost form. So it does help with those Acid Rogue openers. But I mean, that's kind of like just blowing a bunch of talent points into stuff that you're just gonna die either way. So you either want to full send to try and kill them, or you're just gonna live the opener just to die 2 seconds later. So that's why no one really kind of paid too much attention to it. But Poison Cleansing Totem was in that kind of small, minute build. So maybe we'll see a lot more playability with Poison Cleansing Totem. I don't know, but it does seem interesting. It removes all poison effects from the target. That's crazy. Now, Embeforement now applies during Hex and lasts for 6 seconds after Hex ends. So this one's okay, I guess. I never really liked Embeforement. Embeforement, whenever Hex ends, your target is slowed by 70% for 6 seconds, or for 4 seconds after Hex ends. But now it's going to be applied during the target. So this one could be interesting for the simple fact that Hex is the worst Hex or worst polymorph-esque ability in the game, because you have complete control over your character. You can break it intentionally if you want to just run into cleave, so long as you have something to return in favor in case you get stunned or anything like that, then you're good to go. You can reposition yourself wherever you want to. It's just overall a really bad CD. It's a really bad CC effect. However, with this, now that they're going to be slowed by 70% during Hex, you know what, maybe that could actually be beneficial. They can't move where they really want to, and they can't they're gonna have to inch their way into the whole melee cleave at like a snail's pace. So this could be interesting. Now, this is what I was talking about a little bit earlier. Ancestral Wolf Affinity has been moved to the class tree and removed from all specialization trees. This is amazing. I talked about a lot of this stuff in my previous video. And one of the topics was there are certain abilities in your class tree and your normal spec tree that are so directed to a specific spec, it doesn't make sense why they're in the class tree. For example, Maelstrom Weapon and Flurry being in the Shaman tree, clearly directed towards Enhancement Shamans. Why? Because they actually use Maelstrom Weapon, and they actually use actual melee weapons. All right, no other the other classes don't use weapons that benefit Maelstrom Weapon or benefit Flurry. So why is that in the Shaman tree? It doesn't make any sense. So they're kind of taking that into consideration, and they're moving Ancestral Wolf Affinity to the normal Shaman tree. Hopefully we can see some more takes like this for a lot of abilities concerning the Shaman trees for both specs and the actual general tree, and hopefully this kind of leads on to other classes, because I know a lot of other classes have certain abilities like this, and I'm pretty sure it's killing you guys. So hopefully this definitely is implemented more into the future. Focused Insight has moved to the Enhancement and Elemental Specialization tree in place of Ancestral Wolf Affinity. Ancestral Wolf Affinity is in the Gem Talent section of Refreshing Waters. So you either have to choose Refreshing Waters or Ancestral Wolf Affinity. So that talent choice is already just really bad because they don't correlate at all with each other. So it's like there's only one option, which is Refreshing Waters. So now that what is this called? Focus Insight is moving in place of Ancestral Wolf Affinity. That's gonna be interesting. Do you want by default 25% increased healing on yourself, or do you want every flame shock you have, or every flame shock you use, you'll get reduced mana cost and increased healing effect on your next healing surge? All right, that could be used on, the benefit could be used on your party members, whereas Refreshing Waters is only for yourself. So it's something to keep in mind. All right, very interesting. And you can see here they wanted to remove it from Restoration Shaman just for the fact that they have a lot of talents that, a lot of modifiers. So let's kind of move down here. So Swirling Currents has been redesigned, increases the healing done by Healing Stream and Cloudburst Totem by 10%/20%. So that does kind of stink because Swirling Currents was really good for, for every spec. Made Healing Surge heal for, a lot more for Enhancement Shaman. And of course, Major Riptides heal a lot more for, and your Healing Waves heal for a really hefty amount for Restoration Shaman. So now that's just buffing the Healing Stream Totem amount. Healing Stream Totem heals a good amount just because it's just a totem. It's going to constantly heal, and if nobody kills it, it's just going to be a little bit of extra healing that you're going to get out for the next 15 seconds. But it's not really anything that's going to like save you in the end. So this talent, it's concerning, all right? But this is where it actually gets pretty interesting. So several talents have moved positions in the class tree. Healing Stream Totem has swapped positions with Spearwalker's Grace in the talent tree. That's pretty high up there. And Swirling Currents will fall under where Graceful Spirit and Spearwalker's Aegis used to be. All right, Ancestral Guidance has swapped positions with Nature Swiftness. All right, it's gonna move into like that kind of little corner space, so you can't really. It's gonna move like up, I guess, like kind of like diagonal, all right, where Nature Swiftness is. Don't know how I feel about that, but you know what, could be interesting. Because I mean, we don't really take Nature Swiftness anyway for enhancement, so you know what, maybe this could be good. Nature's Garden has swapped positions with Totemic Surge in the talent tree. Totemic Surge is like directly across from the from Nature's Guardian. All right, it's going to be interesting having Nature's Guardian all the way on the left side, where usually for your main build, you kind of the only talents you really go in towards the left side are down to Elemental Orbit, and then you just kind of full stand onto the right. So it's going to be pretty interesting seeing how that's going to play out. But speaking of Elemental Orbit, Earth Shield has swapped positions with Earth Elemental, and Elemental Orbit has moved under Earth Shield in the talent tree. So Earth Elemental goes into Earth Shield, so now Earth Shield is going to be moved to Earth Elemental, and Elemental Orbit's going to follow Earth Shield. Alright, so if you don't want to take Earth Elemental, you don't have to. You can just go down to Elemental Orbit and you'll be just fine. So that's pretty interesting. And then starter builds have been updated for all three specs. That doesn't really matter. Really wish this said, hey, your loadout is increased by like 20, so you can actually have more than 2 bloody, preset builds instead of just, instead of just constantly having the lockout notification or warning like, hey, you can't make a new loadout. All right, like it's pretty baloney, but you know what, we'll take these changes. So overall, what does this mean? Is this gonna make shamans stronger? It's gonna be, you know what, it's gonna be nice. All right, that's what I want to say. I can't say for sure if it's gonna make us stronger or not, because these aren't really direct changes towards enhancement. They're just general talents kind of moved around and tweaked just a tiny tad bit. But I mean, there are some obviously most noteworthy stuff like Thunderous Paws, Plains Traveler and Astral Bulwark. All right, some stuff like that is definitely going to be like some key highlights. But overall, again, I'm stoked. I'm actually happy. It's been a while since Enhancement Shaman has actually gotten any bit of interest in terms of changes, and if it was a change, then it would be pretty minor. Like literally, was it like last week or yesterday they put out a blue post or whatever for just some like hot fixes, and they literally toned down Mana Spring. Mana Spring changed to where it was going to restore mana, 400 mana every time you Storm Strike. Now it's 200 mana. So it's like, what the hell? Like, you nerfed Mana Spring Totem. Wow, that's pretty interesting. All right, so that kind of tweaked me a little bit. But you know what? Seeing these changes, honestly, whether it's gonna impact us or not, either way it's gonna benefit us. By how much, I can't say for sure, nor can anyone say. But I mean, you know what? Like I said, there are some key highlights to these changes. But you know what? We'll see in 10.0.7. Boys, hope you all had an amazing day. Links in the description if you want to see more Big Tuna. I mean, follow twitch.tv/BigDickTuna, for I am streaming there nowadays, and I just got affiliate. So you know what? Come hang out and you know, show me a bit of support. All right, I kind of need it. All right, and I hope you do as well, because you're watching Big Tuna. You're already broken and damaged inside. But boys, hope you all see a beautiful sunset, and I'll see you guys in the next live. Peace. You make me feel real when you tell me something.